For the majority of my PC gaming career, started PC gaming probably when I was like 18, I have stuck to mostly budget to mid-range gaming monitors. For the past 3 gaming monitors, I've had all Dell gaming monitors, and they've been great. I recommend Dell monitors to a lot of people. And before that, it was a lot of BenQ, a lot of Asus, and I still haven't gotten into OLED or mini LED because my amount of gaming has decreased over the years. It just didn't seem like a wise investment to spend all that money on a monitor that I would only use a couple times a week. So when I was redoing this setup and I was looking for a new monitor, I started to look around at monitor brands that I had not heard of and monitor brands that other people were getting some experience with and having a good time with. And so I took a shot at Innocent and UPerfect, and both have been great. There are some cut corners and there are some downsides, but the technology that you're getting for the cost, it's hard to ignore. And I wanted to continue that trend a little bit. So I decided to work with another company called TitanArmy. Hey, turned on. I had originally reached out to them and then they reached out to me. And then we went back and forth for like months, and we finally found a time to work together. So of course, disclaimer, TitanArmy did send this monitor out for me to test. I do get to keep it. I'm not getting paid with money in order to make this video. But as always, before making any purchases based on an influencer's words, check to see if you can find some videos of people that have purchased the monitor and weigh their opinions against mine. The goal of this video is not, is this the best gaming monitor that you can get? The goal is, if you decide to cut corners with your money and try to find a monitor that's on the cheaper end, cheap to mid-range price, what things are you missing out on? What sacrifices will you have to make? And is it wise to jump off of some of the big brand names and give one of these monitors a try? Let's do that. They accidentally sent me the wrong monitor first, and so I was using that for a bit, and then through some issues, we realized that it was the wrong one. So this is the new one. Oh. One thing I've noticed with both monitors that I have not liked, proprietary power connectors. And then of course, this big chunky thing is gonna be in the middle somewhere and it's gonna have to get cable managed. I hate that. That's one of the compromises you're gonna have to make. Sometimes. Depends. Cables, the base. Wait, I forgot. Nobody cares about unboxing. Let's just get to the real shit. I guess I can show it to you first. Very small bezels, but a large-ish chin. That's another compromise usually with the cheaper monitors. But 4 inputs, 2 DisplayPort, 2 HDMI. It's a lot. Now we say goodbye. Just kidding, we're still building things. So again, talking about the compromises of buying one of the cheaper monitors. Build quality is going to come into play here. So you can see where the arm makes contact with the back of the monitor. This isn't as solid as I've seen with other monitors that I've tested. This whole mechanism is really a 3-part design. The monitor, this usually clips in, snaps in, and then this base part screws to the post through the bottom. And you can just kind of see, to give you an idea. Now, when that monitor is actually up, it's height adjustable. I did not expect that. So if you're not mounting the monitor to an arm and you're using the stand, what's that gonna do day to day when you hit your desk? Are you gonna see that wiggle? Is that something that's gonna bother you? If it's mounted to an arm, it's gonna be mostly solid. Still a little flimsy back there, but that is something to consider. If you don't care about that, then you're good. Is it gonna fit? Is it gonna fit? Nice. Oh man, nice. The other monitor was a 27-inch, which I wasn't crazy about. Can I be honest about something? I don't like larger than 24-inch gaming monitors, I don't think. Like when you have something that supports the ultra wide, it's awesome. I switched over to 24 inches like 5 years ago. And the monitor before this one was a 32-inch curved gaming monitor. And it was just too much. I give Windows 11 a lot of shit, but I really enjoy that little animation when you add displays. It's a nice little touch. One of the other compromises you often make with these more budget-minded displays is viewing angles. Whether or not this will be viewable, we shall see. But as you get to the right or the left of the monitor, how do the corners of that monitor do when it comes to brightness and contrast? And a lot of times the edges will be super dark. You'll notice as soon as you get off, The tripod didn't sit all the way. As soon as you get away from center, things start to dim a little bit. And again, to some, that means a lot. To others, it means little. To me, doesn't matter too much. You know when it's bad when you're looking at a monitor and already just being centered, the corners are a little dark. That one should bug everybody. So today is D-Day. I'm gonna start testing this out with some video games, see how it does. I will also be testing the Digma Raise 2. This is a split keyboard, but I've used both the Digma Defy and the Raise now. I love these keyboards so much. Full review on this one incoming. This camera has a LUT on it right now, like an Instagram filter, if you will. And so the color is gonna be a little different, but just in its default state, you can tell the white on the TitanArmy monitor versus the white on the Naaackers monitor. I'm gonna switch over to my phone that has like an auto white balance that might display this better. The TitanArmy has kind of a greenish bluish tint. It's very, very faint when you compare that white window split between the two monitors. The Naaackers one up top, much brighter for one, but much more of a true white compared to the TitanArmy. But I haven't configured the TitanArmy's color yet, so I'm gonna go in there and tweak some settings. I was able to test this monitor for like a week before we had to start packing and moving everything. As you probably know, moving is never not a nightmare, but I made it. So I've been using this monitor for the last like 3 weeks straight in this new place. Let's talk about what I think. So first, here are the important specs. 24.5-inch display, QHD 1440p resolution, which is 2560 by 1440. This is an IPS panel. 240 hertz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time, which is great for IPS. Do you remember when IPS panels bottomed out at like 5 milliseconds and you had to go TN panel if you wanted anything faster? Those days are done. Adaptive sync, yes. sRGB 126%, HDR 500, yes. 100 millimeter VESA mount on the back, also yes. For the interfaces, there's 2 HDMI 2.0, and then there are 2 DisplayPort 1.4. The max brightness maxes out at 400 nits. Retail price tag, $299. This is where I realized I made my first mistake. Before I started writing this review, I did some research on the brand, how their products were priced, what were the interfaces that they had, the specs, give me an idea comparing them to other companies. I started scripting and then I looked up this monitor and realized that I accidentally based all of my thoughts on the non-plus version of this monitor, which is $250, which to me is more like mid-range than budget, like high budget kind of mid-range. So this monitor being $299, oh no, I'm sorry. It's on sale right now for $269, still $299. Not really a budget monitor, which ended up being a good thing because aside from a few small things that make it feel a little cheap, the display, like the panel itself, the quality is great. So this might end up being a budget fast IPS gaming monitor instead of just a budget gaming monitor. IPS panel, IPS stands for in-place switching. Nobody ever calls it that, so why don't we just call it IPS? Great. IPSs are known for their color accuracy and great viewing angles. Traditionally, these are like a favorite middle ground between the TN or the VA panels. For photography, video editing, design. They weren't always the #1 pick for gaming because they always had slower response times. And that's no longer the case. As someone who hasn't gotten into OLED yet, or QD LED or mini LED, IPSs are my go-to, and I'm not jumping onto that ship until burn-in isn't a thing at all. I don't care. I don't know why there is this universal pass for burn-in. Can you imagine applying that logic to like any other product you would buy? Like a camera. Hey, buy this camera for $1,000. By the way, if you use it too much or you leave it on for too long, there's a chance this camera is just gonna burn things into the sensor. And we're totally gonna honor that warranty if it happens, but once that warranty is out, nothing we can do. Now looking at this monitor compared to the Naaackers up top, the 49-inch one, it is awesome. Speaking of awesome, it would be awesome if you left a comment down below so I don't starve and perish. Thanks. Personally, I think the monitor looks really good. Nowhere in my 15 to 20 hours of both productivity use and gaming did anything jump out at me and make me go, ooh, That's no good. The IPS panel out of the box looks great. I made a couple color tweaks. It was leaning a little on the green side for my liking. 240 Hertz is just lovely to look at. The 1 millisecond response time, greatly appreciated. No ghosting that I could see. The colors are vibrant, on-screen text and UI elements in the game, very sharp. I don't have any complaints there either. Like I may or may not have said already, 1440p at 24 inches is like my sweet spot for gaming monitors. That higher pixel density means that things are just crisp. It's great.
Season 3 tournament winner.
Now this monitor does have a DCI-P3 color gamut, which means the range of colors that it can reproduce for you is greater than if it was a sRGB color space monitor. You'll see more color, they'll be more saturated and vivid. So the official stats on that is 95% of the DCI-P3 color gamut and 123% of the sRGB. The one thing I will say, if HDR is a need for you, you're watching the wrong video. Any monitor that I have tried that lists HDR 500, it doesn't live up to HDR standards. To me, it's a bit of a marketing gimmick. This was confirmed as soon as I enabled HDR in Windows and then switched over to the HDR mode on the monitor. I just turned it right back off. My unprofessional opinion, because I'm not a professional monitor reviewer, if you want the HDR experience, stick with HDR 1000 or above. I wouldn't bother with any of the lower ones. It's great with the 400 nits brightness. It's great that it's bright. It ain't HDR, especially being at 8-bit. All things considered, I'm very happy with this monitor. For the downsides that it has, I feel like they're minimal. The build quality, the HDR performance. The only thing I will complain about in addition to that is the controls for the monitor. Having left, right, up, and down 4 different buttons in a linear fashion is just awful. You know what? I am actually going to run for president. And the only law that I will pass is that every monitor from here on out either has a directional pad or a clickable joystick for control, or you have to come up with a universal software that allows you to control all of the settings from the computer. I'm so sick of monitor buttons on any monitor. Knack Daddy campaigning, running for office 2028 with my vice president, Dick Butt. I have to go now. If you decide you want to check out this monitor, links are in the description. Good night.